Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 cents for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait.
Just look around. You got the mountains, you got the most beautiful city in the whole entire country. The university is absolutely, looks like it's out of a storybook. It's just beautiful. People are incredibly genuine and extremely nice. It's just a place that obviously I'd want my kids to go to school. And it sells itself. You don't have to sell anything about this place. You just got to get them here. You know, the old field of dreams. Build it and they will come. It's already built.
It's, here it's Tennessee, so, we're going to get the best guys here. That's just every year. Every time we're out there, it's competition. Nobody has a spot. Nobody's comfortable. We're all working to get better.
Yeah, I didn't sign any mustard bottles or golf balls. Maybe wish I had had a golf ball that night, you know what I mean? But I'm only kidding. All right.
There on the field, the pride of the Southland band crisply marches into the Giant T. The rear, the roar of 97,000 fans rises with each rhythmic step. In the background, George Beatsis is singing "Fight, Balls, Fight." The orange and white Shakers flood the air. The Volunteers are ready at the north end of the football field to burst through the gate. They're coming now, racing onto the field through the Giant T. In that magic moment that says, wherever you are, it's football time in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network, the morning show 2.0. Let's just turn it in to the Howard Stern show. Let's just go live every single morning. Why not? We got nothing else to do. It's Gator Hater Week. My name is Boogie Bentley.
And my name's Xavier, the X Factor.
Yeah, speaking of Xavier, there's a brand new custom Talkin VAWLS emoji down there in the chat. You guys go ahead and break it out. You guys, it's funny how things work out yesterday. We're talking about merchandise and emojis and getting that Xavier emoji. So I start insulting my stepbrother who does all the graphic designs, all the T-shirts. Like, he does so much work for this channel. But I put him on blast because I didn't think he was listening to the show. But lo and behold, he was in the chat by the time we went off air. He's sending me updated for the fans, by the fans designs. He's got the Xavier emoji done. It's amazing what happens when you insult somebody that does so much work for your channel. But man, we got a fun show planned for this morning. Everybody's already seen the comments from Billy Napier. We're going to break that down. We're going to talk about just don't poke the bear, Xavier. Don't poke the bear and piss off 101,000+ people inside of Neyland Stadium.
Yep, like I said, it's a sleeping giant. You don't want to poke the sleeping giant.
It was going to be bad enough. College game day, Tennessee 3-0 for the first time since 2016. This fan base is fired up. They're energized. They're ready. This fan base is ready for Saturday. And then you come out and say it's going to be just a little bit louder. Oh, like you said, Xavier, he awakened the sleeping giant. We're going to listen to his comments, and then I got a little something special we're going to play to get a little fired up here on this Tuesday morning. I got fired up yesterday, man. I got fired because it's Florida week. And as the week progresses, it gets worse and worse and worse. Akron, you don't wake up on Monday really excited. You just kind of go through the week, and then Saturday gets here, you watch the game. Same for Ball State. But Florida, conference play, Xavier, you wake up Sunday morning after that. You're thinking about Florida before that game even ended on Saturday night last week.
Well, even last week, it felt like it was Florida week even last week because like my whole mind was just focused on Florida. I was just like, oh, it's Florida week, and I'm like, no, we're playing Akron. But now officially this week, yes, it's definitely Florida week, and yes, I'm definitely excited for it.
Let's run down the chat. Let's see who's hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning. Sawyer Smith in the house says just a little louder is the biggest understatement of the year. 100%. George Vall in the house says good morning. Red Tillman is day to day. Take that as positive news. We're going to listen to Josh Heupel's press conference a little bit later in the show. Josh, we knew. I recorded Locked On Vols yesterday after me and Xavier went off the air, and me and Eric were kind of laughing off air saying, Josh Heupel's not going to say anything all week. Eric said, I don't know when your episode will air. He's like, it may be Thursday, Friday, probably later in the week. I was like, I thought about that when we were talking about injuries, but we both know Josh Heupel's not going to say anything as the week goes on. So if you hear day-to-day, probably means absolutely nothing. He may truly be day-to-day, but we'll see how that plays out. The Orange Swarm is in the house. Ardor Wolf is here. What's up, Ardor Wolf? Regular on the NCAA streams. Good to see you on Tuesday morning. Knoxville Predator catcher in the house. Timothy Willis is here. What's up, Timothy? John Hill with a $20 super chat. Thank you, John. Appreciate that. Can taste the gator meat already. Let's dismantle AR-15 and whoop some gator tail. Let's go Big Orange. Yeah, that's the key, man. That's the narrative you're going to hear all week long. You're going to hear about making Anthony Richardson throw the football. Every radio show, every YouTube show, every article you read, that's going to be the focal point, is keeping Anthony Richardson in the pocket, make him beat you with his arm. Dakota's in the house. What's up, Dakota? Leah Lancaster is here. What is up, Leah? El Nino in the house. What's up, El Nino? Go Vols, baby. Yes, let's go. Seth DeBoer is here. Can't hide money. Can we, John? What did I got you. You're talking about John Hill. John Hill likes to get the party started with the super chats. And, hey, don't insult a man that puts a tip into the tip jar. Free content. You don't have to pay, but we appreciate the super chats. Craig J is in the house. Good morning, Talkin VAWLS. Good morning, Craig. Let's get this thing rolling. Steve Truitt, I've been praying for our defense all week. Hey, man, talking to Eric Kane, he was asking what I was excited. I'm excited about this defense. Xavier, going into the season, the narrative was, can the defense do enough? Tim Banks is bringing it with this defense the last couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah, there's definitely some depth into this defense, and yeah, it's very exciting to watch. Like I said, now it's going to be very exciting to see what they're going to do against Florida this upcoming game day. I can't wait to see it.
Jarrett Black becomes a member of the channel, joins Talkin VAWLS Elite. Thank you for that support, Jarrett. You got access to those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, including the brand new X Factor emoji. Drop him in the chat, show him what he's won. I also want to remind you guys, we got almost 200 people watching live already. Do me a favor, quick and easy, smash the thumbs up. You want to go a step further, share out the link. Share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook. We're less than 200 subscribers away from 15,000. Now, you guys have shown the power that you have. We've gained like 50-some subscribers a couple of weeks ago on a morning stream because you all stopped and shared it, because we said we would give away free merch. We're going to do it again today. If we hit 15,000 subscribers before we go off air, I'm going to give away some free merchandise. So hit that share button, blast it out, text your uncle, tell him we're live, text your cousin, call your aunt, I don't care. Let somebody know we're live. Let's get to 15,000 before the end of the show, and let's give away some free merchandise. I think that'll be a lot of fun. Here's a $10 super chat from Baker Reynolds. Thank you, Baker. Confident this year, but if AR struggles, my battered Vol syndrome is worried. The backup comes in and has a historic day. Florida uses us as a pivot game and find their new QB. Xavier, is that's nothing more than battered Vol syndrome, is it not? I mean, that's what that is, because we've been through the ringer.
Yeah, it's definitely battered Vol syndrome. Like I said, I hope the backup, comes in, and I hope it favors us, because I don't know how many reps he's gotten, in spring practice or anything like that, but it should be in the odds of our favor.
Let's see here. Brandon Crow says, brand new. Y'all are awesome. Liked, subbed, and shared. Appreciate that, Brandon. Welcome to the party. Anybody new coming in? Xavier's having some internet issues, but I would rather have him by my side as a wingman. It's always good conversation. Just a little bit of popping. I understand. Look, what do we always say? For the fans, by the fans. We're not professional around here. We're working to try to get Xavier dialed in. He switched computers. Now he can't hardwire. I know that's inside baseball, behind the scenes stuff, but I just want you to know we get it. We understand if the clicking's bothering you. We're working to get Xavier dialed in. So just stick around. It's going to be a fun show. Let's kick this thing off. Let's listen to Billy Napier's comments at his press conference talking about the crowd noise and how that would impact Anthony Richardson and this football team.
Yeah, just focusing on the things that he can control. I know that sounds cliche, but, I think the prep throughout the week and then just being a great communicator, verbal and nonverbal, I think you got to do a good job overemphasizing the communication piece, not only to the core of the offense but the perimeter as well, and realize it's the same game. It's not like we're going to Canada and they're going to change the rules. It's going to be the same game. It's going to be a little louder and playing at a different location.
I kind of get it, Xavier. I kind of get, as a coach, you don't want to come out and be like, oh, it's going to be hostile. They're going to change the game. But at the same time, somebody there in the chat, Brandon Walker, just said he sounds defeated. He sounds defeated.
He sounds very unconfident. He really does. Like, I get it between coach talk and like what you said, but yeah, he just sounds very just not confident because he knows what he's getting ready to step into.
Yeah, and when you say just a little louder, no, that's not what it's going to be. Jarrett Black for 2, thank you for the super chat. Finally got the membership figured out, Boogie. Awesome, man. Thank you for the support. We appreciate it, Jarrett. On top of that, Crystal Free becomes a new member of the channel. Thank you for the support. Anybody wondering what a member is, it's kind of like a super chat, but it's like a monthly thing. It's a reoccurring. You can give as little as 99 cents a month or all the way up to $10 a month. Basically, look, the content here is free. You can show up anytime you want. It's free content, videos every day, live streams, all kinds of fun interaction. If you like what we do and want to support us financially, membership's the way to go. That's it. But if not, if you can't afford it, that's what I always say. Somebody was saying that in the Facebook group. They're like, man, Boogie always says, if you can't afford it, don't do it. Just come hang out and enjoy the content, and that's what it's all about. But, Billy Napier, he sounds defeated. He doesn't sound confident. Maybe it is a little coach speak. Like I said, you don't come out and just say, man, we're not going to be able to communicate. Neyland Stadium's going to be rocking. There's so many layers to this. First of all, it's Tennessee, Florida. It's huge. We've laid it out. We've laid it out the last couple of days. Checker Neyland, college game day. First 3-0 start since 2016. Turning point for Josh Heupel, continuing that upward trajectory. And I'm going to talk a little bit about recruiting a little bit later in the show and player evaluation and how good this coaching staff is doing with that. But to continue that upward trajectory, to continue to pull commitments, this game is absolutely crucial on Saturday. And look, if they go out and lose, it's not the end of the world. It's not time to get out the pitchforks and the torches and start calling for Josh Heupel's head. We have to be realistic if they don't get it done on Saturday. But the potential to continue to blow up this program is so huge on Saturday. But for Billy Napier to sit there and say, it's just another game, they're not changing the rule. It's not just another game. It means more to us. It means more maybe it doesn't mean anything to Florida. Maybe when you've won 16 out of the last 17, it doesn't mean a whole lot to you. But when you've been down, you've been out, you've been beat down over and over and over, it's just like 2016 when we ended the streak. That meant something. That was a huge, monumental win for this program. And now Josh Heupel, in just year 2, has an opportunity to continue that upward trajectory. Scott Bennett for 5, thank you for the super chat. Go big freaking orange, beat the rush, hate Florida now, dropping those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. I say it all the time, but StreamYard's got to get it fixed. They got to get it fixed so that when I put the comment on the screen, you can see those. But I don't know that they would be able to do that because they're completely separate from YouTube. But I do love StreamYard. It makes this job, this game, this stream a whole lot easier to run. But Saturday's a huge opportunity. And if Billy Napier needs a little help being educated on the difference between what Neyland Stadium's going to look like on Saturday versus just a regular game, look, where he comes from, Louisiana, where he used to coach, they ain't got atmospheres like he's about to see on Saturday. This is his first year at Florida, Xavier. First year at Florida, and they've played 3 home games. You're about to be welcomed into the most chaotic scene you've ever seen in your life, Billy Napier. And if you don't know, if you need a little education, I got it for you right here. I know Billy Napier's watching. He's always in the chat. Let me go ahead and play this clip from Admiral Schofield, letting you know what you're going to see on Saturday.
You know what Baker Mayfield said about Neyland Stadium? He said, it's a different type of loud. Can't even describe it. Can't describe it? It's okay. His teammates did. And I quote, I ran out of the tunnel for warm-ups, and I was greeted by thousands of screaming fans. The game wouldn't even start for over an hour, but those people seemed to think it was kickoff. Those psychotic students already giving us a preview of what to expect in the hours to come. What followed was a dissertation of an impact a crowd could have on a football game. They made it absolutely impossible to communicate. But on the first drive, we had to change our snap count because even our silent count was ineffective against the wall of noise. I came off the field after the first drive, and I reassured my coach that the fans would settle down in due time, and that noise wasn't going to be an issue going forward. Boy, was I wrong. The noise was a constant, oppressive force. I could literally feel it on my skin. Those fans weren't just loud on the first drive or even just third down, but every single play. End quote. Wow. Ball Nation, he's talking about us. Don't let up.
If you don't have chill bumps, you're not allowed.
Dude, I got goosebumps right now, and I love Schofield, man. I said, hey, Admiral, I love the kid, man. But yeah, I mean, yeah, and look, if you didn't see the quote, like I said, that's from Baker Mayfield. And look, we all know and remember that game. I mean, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to, but even Baker Mayfield, those words came directly out of his mouth and was like, yes, that crowd is a different loud.
If you're going to the game, listen to that last statement. Put on more steam. Put on more steam. That environment is going to be electric. They're, like you said, Xavier, they are awakening a sleeping giant. We didn't need any encouragement. We didn't need any. We already have people tweeting out that you need to leave the kids at home because it's going to get nasty. We have people tweeting out jokes saying they're going to be giving breathalyzers at the gate. And some people read that wrong and thought that they were going to send you home if you were drinking. No, your blood alcohol content's got to be up. They want it above a certain number. So you bring the violence and the hostility towards the Gators on Saturday. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. Billy Napier, and look, what he said really wasn't that much, but don't give us anything because we're going to take it and run with it, and it's going to be an electric freaking atmosphere. I cannot wait. I cannot wait until Saturday. Look, we got 267 people watching live right now. Do us a favor, hit that thumbs up real quick. That's quick, free, easy, helps the channel. We would appreciate it. I said at the top of the show, we got some new people starting to flood in. If we get to 15,000 subscribers before the end of the show, we're going to give away free merchandise. And I know that's a tall task. We're like a little under 200 away, but you guys can help. Take 2 seconds. Hit the share button down below. Hit Twitter, hit post, hit Facebook, hit post. All it does is send that link out, and more people get eyes on this show and understand what we're doing here for the fans, by the fans, means something. We are blowing this platform up. Carlos says 2 mornings in a row. What is going on? Well, Carlos, it's Gator Hater Week, and you guys ask for more content. You guys ask for more morning shows, so we're going to bring it to you. We're going to bring as much content as possible, and that's why we keep trying to blow this thing up, because the bigger it gets, the more members, the more people join this channel. If you like these morning shows and you're not a member, if you become a member, you're going to make it possible that we can do this every single morning. Every morning. Look, we're going to be live tonight at 9 o'clock for the fan call-in show, but hear me and Xavier sit. We're going live at 9 a.m. Guess what? We're going to jump off air. We're going to relax for the day. We're going to come back tonight at 9 o'clock and do it all over again. We're going to have Eric Kane on at 9 p.m. for about 20 minutes breaking down this Florida game, and then we're going to open it up to you guys, the fans, because it is for the fans, by the fans. Fan call-in show, always a good time. Xavier, let's talk about this football team. You know, we talked a little bit about the Akron game last week, but we're 3 games into this thing, and if you look at the numbers, if you look at the statistics, Tennessee averaging 52 points per game. That's 4th in the country. They are 4th in scoring offense. Defensively, they're only giving up 14.3 per game. That is good for 27th in the country scoring defense. And I know you got Pitt on the road. That's a big time game, and then you kind of got that surrounded by Ball State, which is whatever, Akron, whatever. But you did what you were supposed to do. You took care of business. You're 3-0, and your numbers look pretty good. What's your overall thoughts, top to bottom, on this football team through 3 weeks?
They look really good. Like I said, because the big concern was that did they improve from last season, and from both sides of the ball, they really have. And I'm like you said earlier, Bug, I'm very, very impressed with the defense. The defense is what I'm really, really shocked about, and it makes me happy, it makes me feel good because, like I said, seeing like Aaron Beasley, Tyler Barron, of course my man, Jeremy Banks, like. It's just everybody is just clicking on all cylinders on the defense. So, and like I said, I'm very excited to see what they're going to do against Florida coming up. And then the offense, the offense is going to take care of itself. Hendon Hooker, like I said, I mean, there's still like a tiny, tiny little question mark of like what's going on with his accuracy. But it's like what I said, when you and JP was on a couple nights ago. If it's a footwork or whatever's going on with him, as long as he doesn't cause any interceptions or he does bad with the football, then I'm okay with it. So yeah, the offense is going to be good and this defense is going to be clicking.
I think this coaching staff has a question. They got a good problem to have at the linebacker position with Juwan Mitchell coming back. Aaron Beasley, you mentioned him. He leads this football team in tackles with 22 tackles. And he's getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He doesn't have a sack recorded for the year, but he's the guy that got after the quarterback early, forced a turnover right there, the very first defensive play of the year. He got after the Ball State quarterback, had a big hit, but he's just flying around. He's living in the backfield. He's flying around and making plays out in space. I think he's a really, really good linebacker. And look, at the end of this year, Jeremy Banks likely off to the NFL, Juwan Mitchell out of eligibility. So it's nice to have a guy like Aaron Beasley coming back that you can count on. So we'll see what they decide to do. Juwan Mitchell, Aaron Beasley. It's a good problem to have because you can rotate guys. That's a big part of it. You're going to be able to rotate. Solomon Page is in that 2 deep as well. I think they trust him, but I think your top 3 linebackers are all 3 pretty good. Now, moving into 2023, we're going to have some problems with eligibility, and I think they're going to have to hit the portal and definitely add somebody at the linebacker position. But this team is doing what they're supposed to do. But the excitement factor is just it feels like a different defense to me. When Tim Banks was hired, that's what Josh Heupel said he wanted from a defensive coordinator. He said he wanted somebody that was going to be aggressive, that was going to take chances, that was going to force turnovers, play loose and fast. And I kind of questioned that at times. Was this defense really doing that? Now, I felt like they were playing loose and fast, but I didn't really feel like they were that aggressive at all times. It just feels like the last 2 weeks, this defense has been fun to watch, like getting after the quarterback, flying around, making plays, forcing turnovers. We're already seeing the Trayvon Flowers interception in that Pitt game was absolutely huge. That was crucial. You could have been down 3 scores. Tip drill, Trayvon Flowers comes down with the football. I did not expect to be going into the Florida game and us sitting here talking about the defense more than the offense. Harmon J. Seaball for $50. $50 is a lot of money. That is a very generous super chat. Harmon J. Seaball, we appreciate it. The guys in the chat are already saying it. You got to play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Harmon J. Seaball, thank you for the $50. Says going to be there Saturday. Seen a lot of heartbreak when it comes to Tennessee versus Florida, but damn, I feel confident. No, I don't think he means Vacation Bible School, Xavier. I think he means battered ball syndrome. I think he means BVS. Well,
yeah, I think so too.
They're canceling Vacation Bible School because everybody is in a different frame of mind. No, I'm just joking. Harmon J. Seaball, thank you for the super chat. Very generous. We appreciate it. Xavier, we have seen a lot of heartbreak when it comes to this Tennessee-Florida game, and I don't want to speak this into existence, but how is this fan base going to handle it if we see it once again?
Well, I think it's just one of those losses that everybody predicted earlier in the season. Like when they said, like, is it possible for us to go like 9-3 or 8-3 or instead of 9-4 or whatever the case may be. Like I think what I'm saying, that third or maybe even possible fourth loss probably will come from Florida, and I just think that if I mean, like I said, I don't want to speak into existence. I want us to go out there and take care of business. But I mean, if we do lose to the Gators, I mean, we're not going to fire Josh Heupel. I mean, we're not going to do any of that. It's just, I mean, we still got LSU to take care of. Still got, Kentucky, Missouri, South Carolina, all these other teams coming up. I mean, we're still facing about 8 to 9 wins, maybe even possibly 10. But no, I don't think it's not time to fire Josh Heupel just yet, all because that we couldn't get the job done with Florida.
You just got to keep the momentum going, man. That's why I see you, Danny. Boogie, no losing talk. I know. I shouldn't even speak that into existence. But I want to put it out there because I know how our fan base is, and we're so passionate. And I saw somebody in the chat earlier saying, Boogie, does this remind you of the Ole Miss game? And it does. It does because, look, it's Tuesday. And we've got 265. We've got more people in here on a Tuesday morning than we used to have for post-game shows a couple of years ago. People are excited. And winning just continues to, boost that excitement. Like, look, we're diehard Tennessee fans. If you're watching me and Xavier on a Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, you're a diehard Tennessee fan. You can't consume enough Tennessee football content. But the more this team wins, the bigger it gets and the more excited people get. And I've been there myself, man, like just as a fan, even before we ever even started this show, it's kind of like as you go through the week, where's your excitement level? Well, if they're losing, it's like, man, I'm just going to listen to something else. Like I'm not going to listen to Swain this morning because I just don't even want to talk about Tennessee football. But the more you win, the more the energy's there, and the more, like I said, you want to consume content. You think about Tennessee football 24/7. You wake up on Monday morning and you tune in to Talkin VAWLS. Then Tuesday, it's like, Boogie, just quit your job already. I need more content. I need you live Tuesday morning. I need you live Tuesday night. It's just this game is huge. And continue that momentum. If you get the win and you head to LSU on the road, we're going to be right here having the same conversation. We're all going to be believing that Tennessee is going to go on the road and have a big-time win against LSU. And then Alabama's going to come to town, and College Game Day is going to be saying, hey, man, we should have waited 2 weeks. We should have waited 3 weeks and come down here when Alabama rolled in and it's a top 10 matchup, which they're not going to do that. But it's just huge, man. It's just a huge opportunity on Saturday. Thomas Hargrove. Quit for the people, Thomas says. Thomas, you can help me quit for the people. You become a member of the channel. You'll get a little power T beside your name, and you support the channel. And the more people join, the more opportunity there is for me to do this full time. And that's what we would do. I don't know that we would go live every single morning. But we would definitely go live in the mornings that we didn't have an evening stream. So maybe that would be like Monday, Thursday, Friday. I don't know. That's what I want to do, man. I want to do this full time. You guys can make that happen. Let's keep sharing out the links. Let's keep blowing up this chat. Let's get to 15,000 subscribers before the Florida game. That's the goal. As we continue to look at this offense, or these, I guess, stats. You want to look at stats through 3 weeks, where this football team's at. We talked a little bit about the defense. Let's talk about the wide receiver position because going into this game, again, obviously we all know Cedric Tillman. They're calling it day to day. That's what some of you in the chat said. We're going to listen to Josh Heupel's press conference here in just a little bit. They're calling it day to day. So I don't know if he's going to be able to go or not. And if he can, is he 100%? I don't know. It's just a big question mark. So Xavier, we know you're going to roll Jalen Hyatt out there. You're going to roll Brew McCoy out there. Your next leading receiver, when you look at yardage, because he's had a couple of big chunk plays, is Ramel Keaton. He's got 5 catches for 114 yards, and he had the touchdown last week. And then you've also got Walker Merrill, who has shined a couple of times. He's got 4 catches for 67 yards, but he's got 2 touchdowns on the year, trailing only Jalen Hyatt when it comes to touchdown catches. Who we kind of laughed about the bingo card, SEC football bingo card with AR. And who has him having more tackles than touchdown passes 3 weeks into the season? Well, who had it on the Talkin VAWLS bingo card that Walker Merrill would have more touchdown catches than Cedric Tillman through 3 weeks? Nobody had that on the old bingo card. But who do you think steps up and fills that void if Cedric Tillman can't give it a go?
Yeah, I think it's definitely Keaton. Just because of the performance that we've seen in that second half of that Akron game. And like I said, and I like Keaton. I like him a lot, man. Like I said, he's definitely going to be a kid that has a lot of potential going into the future. But yeah, if I have to replace Cedric, I'm definitely going with Keaton.
And I wouldn't be surprised, too, to see them rotate guys on that opposite
Yeah.
side of Broom. Maybe you see Keaton. Maybe you see Walker Merrill. Some people even asking, do you maybe shift Brew McCoy over to that side so you've got McCoy and Hyatt on one side together, and then maybe use Keaton, Walker Merrill on the other side. But that's something to keep an eye on if Cedric can't give it a go. PJ Hahn becomes a member of the channel. We appreciate that, PJ Hahn. You guys, looks like you guys are grasping the concept. You want more content. You want more morning streams. Thomas Hargrove says, okay, Boogie, you put me on blast. You call me out by name. I'll become a member of the channel. We appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you for the support. Coach Jay becomes a member of the channel. You guys are getting it now. We appreciate that support. There are strength in numbers. I say it all the time. You know, like I said, we're almost to 50. Xavier, you got me saying it now. Do you hear me now? Like I'm transitioning with, like I said. Like that's your transition. Like I said, they aggravate you in the chat, and I'm just like, people that don't live stream don't understand. Everybody's got a little thing they do before they transition, and yours is like, now you got me saying, like I said. Come on, we can't both say it. We can't both say it. Dauber's got a couple too. I'm trying to think of what Dauber says. I don't know, but it's just funny. I see people giving you a hard time. John Lillard becomes a member of the channel, all the way to Talkin VAWLS Elite. John says, I'm not just going to support. I'm going to support at the top level, the $10 level. We appreciate that. Thank you guys for the support. And just a reminder, with all these new members coming in, it's not just supporting us financially, which we do appreciate, but it's also you get access to the fan call-in show. So tonight at 9 o'clock, after we have Eric Kane on, I'm going to talk a little bit about this Florida game with Eric Kane for about 20 minutes probably, and then after that, it opens up to a fan call-in show. I put the link out where only the members of the channel can see it, and you guys get to come on. You guys get to run the show, so it's going to be a lot of fun tonight, and you new members, hope to see you guys in the chat tonight at 9 o'clock. Dakota says, just don't repeat yourself, and I will not hate you. I hate people that repeat themselves like I hate my – what? I should read Dakota's chats before I put them on the screen. Let's see here. We've got a super chat coming in here from Joshua Holly for 5. Thank you for the super chat. If Tennessee goes 10-2 this season, do you see a New Year's Bowl against Ohio State or Michigan? Well, where they're trending right now, because there was a prediction for the Sugar Bowl, and they've got them trending for Baylor. And how big would that be, Xavier? A New Year's Six Bowl. Look, that's what's so comical. That's what's so comical. Oh, yeah, there's one. Tim Bradley. Dauber says, oh, man. Oh, man. Yeah, he says that a lot.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
What is it? There's something else he says that I've caught myself saying, and it drives me nuts. I'm like, oh, my gosh, Dauber's rubbing off on me. But how big is it to go to a New Year's Six Bowl? And again, let's not lose sight of things. That's sometimes when we start getting excited, I think people are like, pump the brakes, Boogie. Y'all need to calm down. But we thought this was going to be 5 or 6 years. We're preaching patience. But now, because Josh Heupel has been more successful than we expected, now it's like New Year's Six Bowl, SEC Championship. And there's a difference. It's just like we talked about with the game Saturday. They go out and lose the game. It's not time to start screaming and fussing and say, fire Josh Heupel, but maybe it raises a little red flag. Maybe it's, okay, we need to be, let's wait and see how this plays out. But how big would it be for the momentum to end up New Year's Six Bowl?
It's pretty big. Yeah, pretty big. Oh, man. So I had to throw it in there. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty big. Yeah, like I said, I just really want us to get like a bigger bowl game than the previous ones that we have been getting. I mean, the previous ones have been pretty big, like Purdue was pretty big. I mean, for the Josh Heupel rebuild. But yeah, I mean, like bring on, like the Oklahomas, bring on, Michigan, or like any, big, Big 10, Big 12 teams, because like I said, I mean, I'm ready for them.
We've got another new member here. Kenny Davis becomes a member of the channel. Thank you, Kenny, for the support. We appreciate that. We're going to go listen to Josh Heupel's press conference as he breaks down this game against Florida. Just to remind, we got almost 300 people. I just want to remind you guys, when Xavier's microphone clicks, it's because we're trying to get his internet connection dialed in. So don't come in if you're a new listener and be like, oh, man, this is horrible. No, we're working on it. But I would rather have Xavier here by my side, jumping on this thing and talking Tennessee football. Seth the Four says, JP's so country when he talks, you smell biscuits. I love you guys. The chat is definitely part of the show. The chat is part of the show. Let's get Josh Heupel queued up here and take a listen to what he has to say as we head into Florida week. And just a little update. I've not listened to this, so I have no idea what we're in for. I don't know what he says, but I think that kind of creates better reaction. So let's take a listen to what Josh Heupel said yesterday when he met with the media.
Hope everybody's doing well. Great week ahead of us, and excited about the challenge that's coming to town, and it's going to be a great environment, one that our entire program's excited about. Said it earlier today, most important thing for us is controlling our preparation and that taking us to kickoff. And guys had a good Monday, and they'll be back this evening, but looking forward to the entire week. Open it up.
Josh, you guys had success with that option look on offense. Was there anything you saw defensively that led you to believe you could have success with that play?
Yeah, just, week to week we're going to change offensively based on what we're seeing structurally from the other side of the football. And it was an opportunity for us to get the ball out on the perimeter, and Hendon did a really nice job of operating in it, the 2 times that we ran it, and Dylan did as well.
Curious to see, we talked about the wide receiver position and Cedric Tillman possibly being out. Same thing for the running back room, man. If Dylan Sampson and Jabari Small are both out, that's going to be – you're asking a lot of Jalen Wright. And I don't know – and Justin Williams-Thomas is going to be just fine. He's going to be a great football player for this team down the line. I truly believe that. But I don't know that he's ready yet as a true freshman. Jalen Wright, he's actually 8th in the SEC in rushing yards right now, 231 yards, averaging 5.13 per carry. I like him to do some nice things, but I think we're going to miss Dylan Sampson. I truly believe that they put that little wrinkle in for Florida. Josh Heupel just said there that it's something they saw in the defense from Akron. Horse crap. That was put in to show a little something for Florida, and I think they probably have something dialed up to counter that with. But what do you think about the running backs if Dylan Sampson and Jabari Small both out? And hopefully we got at least one of them that are healthy, but it's concerning.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Yeah, I really hope that one of them are at least healthy. Because Sampson he did really, really well. But of course, you want Jabari Smalls because their starter running back. Yeah, I hope at least one of them are healthy. But if not, then yeah, I say send Jalen Wright out there because, like I said, it is going to be a tall task for him, but I think he can handle it. Like I said, he did a little bit of improvement against the Akron game that I like seeing. Like I said, he didn't cough up the football, like the past 2 games like he did. So I feel, a little bit confident if he has to, get the green light to go. But I'd rather have either Sampson or Small back.
Yeah, that's a good point, Jalen Wright. He had 23 carries against Akron, which you really don't want. You don't want one of your main guys having to have that workload, but he didn't cough up the football, and that's I think the turnover battle. Look, Richardson has shown he's going to turn the football over, and if he does, you got to capitalize. And that was the thing about the Pitt game is Tennessee did not capitalize when they had opportunities, and you can't give away opportunities against Florida if you're going to win that football game. You've got to tighten up. Got to tighten up your special teams. You can't afford to give away free points, missing a field goal. And, Chase McGrath has been pretty solid, so I'm not hating on the kid, but you got to dial that in. You got to clean up your punt return game. You can't put the football on the ground. You got to make sure you protect the punter. You can't if they block a punt, that's a huge momentum swing. Tennessee cannot afford to do that against a team like Florida and expect to hang on. Ralph Keith becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that. Thank you for the support. You guys, man, see what happens? Sometimes people fuss at me for shilling, but I shill and say, hey, look, we get enough members, then I'm doing this thing full time. Here come the memberships. Same thing. We get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of the stream. We're giving away free merchandise. Let's get nuts. We'll give away, no, 2's not enough. 2's not enough. We'll give away 3 shirts. 3 shirts to 3 listeners if we get to 15,000 subscribers by the end of the stream. We're still a long ways away. We're under 200, but we're still a long ways away. But now's the time to share out that link. Hit the share button down below and see if we can make that happen. 3 shirts. 3 shirts going out if we do. Let's hear more from Josh Heupel.
you know sort of how this Florida series has been, different coaches, different players. Florida still owned it. Do you feel like there's any sort of psychological hurdle that your players have to get over? Do they inherit that?
I don't believe that. Each week is different. Each day is different. Each season is. For us, we're however many months into our program right here, right now, and our kids are extremely confident, as they should be. They prepare the right way. They work hard. We've continued to grow. They know that the preparation's going to be the most important thing. It's going to be a great atmosphere. We got to be able to control our emotions during the course of the football game, but compete and not go up and down during the course of the game.
What do you think about that? Do you think that's accurate? I sometimes feel like this run against Florida impacts our mental state more than the players, because they didn't live through that 17 years. Some of them did. There's people that play on this football team that are fans, but
Yeah, like you said, yeah, just keep your emotions under control. Stick to the game plan, and yeah, don't get too emotional out there because there's even some guys, what I'm saying, on that roster, that have experience through that as well. But yeah, just keep your emotions in check, just stick to the game plan, and and going back to what you said earlier, Boog, about that you can't have any mistakes with Florida, because how many times over the previous years we've seen Florida capitalize on our mistakes and turn those into points, so we just can't be doing that.
Let's hear a little bit more from Josh Heupel.
Josh, you're new to Oklahoma. Obviously, you were very well aware that Texas and Oklahoma State were a little bit different than all the others. After you took this job, how long did it take for somebody said to you, Florida's a little different?
Probably 30 seconds after I arrived here on campus. This is one of the ball games that this fan base and our players point to too, and obviously being a fan of college football, I've seen the great games and the rivalry itself play out, and that's why you come here. You want to be a part of these types of games. You want to have an opportunity to have college game day on your campus and be the primetime slot and have a sold-out stadium, and we're excited to see the fan base and Vol Walk. I know will be electric, and when we run out that tee, there won't be a better atmosphere in college football.
Coach, I don't know if you can answer that, but kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, sold-out stadium, primetime, game day is going to be here. You're ranked on the cusp of the top 10. Did you have a timeline for when you thought this program could get to where it's going to be on Saturday?
I think that's one of the things that our players that help create buy-in with our players is that we've never set a ceiling on what we could or could not do. Last year, this was a ball game that helped in the turning point inside of our program. Obviously, we didn't come out on top. There's a lot of things that we didn't do right, but resetting afterwards that Monday where we came back in and we're just able to show how everything unfolded and the things that we controlled, I think created a ton of buy-in too. At the end of the day, this is, the fourth game of this journey this year. It's a big one because this is the only one we got this week. Our kids will be ready and our staff will too.
Interesting words there that he called it a turning point last year. Interesting. Mm-hmm. This is a turning point. That's what we've been preaching the last couple of days on here. But asking him about the Tennessee-Florida rivalry and what it means, and making the joke, getting off the plane 30 seconds later, they're asking him about this Florida game or talking about the Florida game. And I made a video yesterday and just called it the rivalry, Tennessee versus Florida, the rivalry. And if you haven't watched it, I encourage you to go back and watch it. But look, what I talked about in that video, it's funny. I tell you to go watch it, then I'm just going to tell you what I said in the video. But look, I'm 41 years old. And for people that are around my age, and you guys know me, you guys on this channel know I hate Georgia. Georgia is at the top of the list for SEC teams that I hate. And some people, everybody's got that rival that they hate the most. And a lot of people, it's Alabama. A lot of the older generation, it's Alabama. And that's because that truly is. Tennessee, Alabama, that's the rivalry. That is the end-all, be-all. But there's some difference there between, based on your age. And a lot of people, my age, it's Florida. And that's because I was in high school when Tennessee won the national championship in '98. And back during those years, the late 90s, early 2000s, it was all about Tennessee, Florida. And whoever came out of that game with a win, and even as early as it was in the season, and that imagine Xavier, I know you're younger than me. Imagine Saturday, Tennessee, Florida, fourth game of the year. that you just had the confidence that if Tennessee beat Florida on Saturday, that they were going to the SEC championship game. Forget the rest of the season. Forget the rest of the schedule. You had that confidence that because they beat Florida, they were going to the SEC championship game. Now we're talking about you beat Florida. Well, you got to go on the road and play LSU. You still got Georgia and Alabama on the schedule. Kentucky's going to be a tough one. No, back then it was you beat Florida, you're going to Atlanta. That's why people my generation, Florida is the one they hate. Because of the late 90s, Fulmer and Spurrier, that's why. What about you? What does this rivalry mean to you? Who's at the top of your hate list?
Oh yeah, definitely Florida. Because like I said, I was born in '95. Young gun here. But yeah, I think for me, the rivalry for me is, like I said, definitely Florida. My second would definitely have to be Georgia, because yeah, Georgia fans, I just can't stand them. Like, they're just annoying, obnoxious. They think that they're like, I don't know. It's like they just think they're the new Alabama for some reason. I just don't know. But yeah, I definitely got to say Florida, Georgia, and then definitely Bama. But what's funny is that, I really don't hate Bama as much. I mean, of course, I can't stand them, but I really am not like a big hater towards like Georgia and Florida, though.
I wonder if it's because the same reason I hate Georgia. Like, as much as we hate and despise Alabama, you almost have to respect them because of the dominance that they've had under Nick Saban. And that's what's made Georgia worse for me lately, because they did win the national championship last year. So up to that, they had that arrogance and they thought they were the next big thing, but they weren't. Like, they weren't. But then they got that national championship, and that just made them even worse. But again, just going back, this Tennessee-Florida rivalry, a lot of people, Florida's at the top of the list, and that's why. And, I remember the games with, of course, the 98 game. Mm-hmm. Huge. You're talking about a win in overtime that got you to the national championship game. And then I remember, 01, 03, Casey Clausen going on the road, draining the swamp twice. You know how impressive that is for Casey Clausen to go down there and drain the swamp twice. And then, 2004, Eric Ainge gets the win. And then from there on, that's when the drought started. After 2004, and then you got one win out of 17 years. Let me get this super chat here from Brent Bridges. Thank you for the $10. We appreciate it. Boogie, a lot of people my age, think Florida is the biggest rivalry because my first football memory is Tebow Berry, 95 kid. Yeah, that clip gets shown a lot.
They represent 95.
Is that when you were born too? Is that what you said? You were born in 95 too?
Yeah, I was born in 1995.
The chat's calling me young, and you making me feel old, Xavier. Making me feel old. Yeah, I see Scott Bennett here in the chat. Back in the day, he's 54 years old. You circled Bama, then Auburn. After that, it's Florida. Austin says, top 5 SEC teams I hate: Florida, Georgia, Bama, Auburn, Kentucky. If you hate Kentucky, go pick up the Kentucky's Daddy shirt. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Links also in the description. Let them know. Let them know that we're Kentucky's Daddy. I'm sure. I would love to see people wearing that shirt when we play Kentucky. The looks on their faces when somebody walks up wearing a Kentucky's Daddy shirt. Let's see here. Let me monitor the subscribers. Are we getting close? We're getting close. We're gaining a few at a time. I don't think we're going to get there, but if we do get to 15,000 by the end of the stream, we'll give away those 3 free T-shirts. We still got almost 300 people watching live. Thank you guys for choosing us on this Tuesday morning when you're supposed to be working. Instead, you're listening to Talkin VAWLS. Does your boss know? I doubt it. I hope not. But I appreciate you guys tuning in. I get it, man. That's the cool thing about the morning show. Jason Swain left big shoes to fill, and I'm not by any means comparing me and Xavier to Swain. But that morning show was kind of a staple for a lot of people. They like to tune in while they were working, put some earbuds in, whatever the case may be, and listen to Swain. Then he moved, to the talk radio. And so it's a little bit later in the show. People want that void in the morning, and that's why I want to do this full time, man. I want to bring you guys the content that you want, but I also got to make sure that I take care of the family and the finances. So I'm not ready to quite pull the trigger yet and do this full time, but we're getting close. We're getting close. We appreciate the support. Let's hear a little bit more from Josh Heupel's press conference yesterday afternoon.
I know it's early in the week, but what have you seen from Anthony Richardson, the challenges that he presents for their offense?
Yeah, first of all, he can throw the football. He can do that on the move. He can do it from inside the pocket. He's big, physical, imposing. You have to bottle him up in the quarterback run game. At the same time, as you're trying to apply pressure when they're dropping back and throw it, he's got the ability to make you pay if you don't have rush integrity inside your pass rush lanes. And we've done a better job this year than we did a year ago, but that's going to be a critical part of the football game.
Jeff, when you talk about not putting a ceiling on what you guys could do very quickly, when did you get a sense that the players in the program really believed that?
Yeah, I thought in year one we continued to grow in each phase. There was always, as there always is in year one, skepticism or not understanding what's going to come next. When you go from, January and February strength and conditioning into spring ball, into the summer, into the season, there's always some unknowns there. I think for us as a program, there were a couple of turning points. I said the Florida game last year was a big turning point for us. The way we played and competed when we went to Kentucky continued to create that buy-in. But I think our players started to see that, it was about us and it was about our preparation. And we continued to grow. We became more mature. Our practice habits changed, and we started playing better football.
Coach, I know you're not going to offer up injury updates today on those guys, but with veteran.
Where's Wes at?
Where's Wes?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Was he supposed to ask that question?
He already put my comments out there, so he had direct quotes.
That's hilarious because I saw people talking about that Heupel said something about Wes Rucker, and I didn't know why. So but everybody knows that Heupel's not going to say anything, so that's hilarious. Kelly Goodwin asking for this shirt. Man, Xavier, is that too far? Is that too far to go with that shirt? A lot of people want it.
Let's see, Buck Fama shirt.
A lot of people want it.
I don't know.
I don't know either. We've got beat Bama. We try to keep it classy around here, man. But I know a lot of people want that shirt. I don't know. We'll see. Noah says we've got 172 likes, but Xavier, we got 300 people watching. That math doesn't add up. Fix that. Fix that now. Smash the thumbs up if you like what we do. Let's see. Tennessee guard guy, $20 super chat. Thank you for that. Says, I hate Alabama with the old hatred from the 80s and 90s. Seeing ex-ball coaches coaching and cheering with Alabama over Tennessee's loss still burns me. Yeah. What an idiot Butch Jones was over there smoking a cigar like he had something to do with Alabama beating Tennessee. Then you got Cornbread. You got Cornbread coming to Tennessee and coaching, and a lot of people hated that right out of the gate. I was hoping that he had actually learned something from Nick Saban. Clearly, he learned how to cheat. He learned how to cheat and pay players, but not accurately, not correctly, not behind the scenes enough.
Right. Yeah, just the worst. He was definitely the worst hire we've ever had.
He was bad. And, the argument out there about him as a ball coach, I think he's a good defensive coordinator, but the argument to that is that every defense he ever coached was already built, established, and in place. And, it's pretty easy to go out and call plays. It's almost like the NCAA dynasty on Sunday nights. It's real easy for me to just throw it deep when all the guys on the team are 99 overall. It's easy to coach up 5-star athletes. It's not easy to do what Josh Heupel did and come in and take a team that is at rock bottom. Everybody's transferred out, and you didn't come in and insult them. That's what I love about Josh Heupel. Again, thank you, Tennessee guard guy, for the super chat. I love that he didn't. That's the first thing Jeremy Pruitt did was come in and insult his team and say, we don't have enough talent here, but I'm going to go recruit it. Don't worry. Josh Heupel came in and embraced this team and said, what do you need from me as a coach? He led the way leaders should lead, and look where we're at in less than a year and a half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it shows the difference between, leadership and also being a coach as well. And that's why there's something about him is very, very different. And I love him. Like, he just has that it factor and personality.
Scott Bennett disagrees and says Lane Kiffin was the worst hire. I don't know, man.
I think know. It's only because, like, if he didn't leave in the night, man, like I said,
right.
You see the record, what he brought us, man. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with that comment. But I mean, yeah, it's just one of those you just don't know,
Yeah, obviously what he did leaving in the middle of the night, that's what set Tennessee back. But if he had stayed, what would he have done?
Right.
Not sure. Let's hear a little bit more here.
I'm joking.
With veteran guys, is it a situation where you would be more comfortable if later in the week, if they missed a lot of time because they're veteran guys, that you would be more comfortable with them late in the week not getting as much normal preparation?
Yeah, for sure. Guys that have played a bunch of football, that understand what we're doing defensively or offensively. Do you ever want them to not get the physical reps? No, you prefer to have the physical reps. At the same time, those guys are mature enough to typically put themselves in a position to operate and function and play at a really high level with a limited amount of practice reps during the course of the week.
That's a good question from Hubs there. If Cedric Tillman's healthy, he's playing. I don't care if he practices at all. If he's healthy, he's going out there. Now, maybe Jabari Small, Dylan Sampson, maybe that's a little bit different, like especially Dylan Sampson. If he doesn't practice, maybe he doesn't play, but there's no way. If Cedric Tillman is healthy, he's going out there to play. We got 315 people watching live right now. Chat's starting to grow. You guys come on in. We're going to talk a little Tennessee football. Listening to Josh Heupel's press conference from yesterday with this Florida game. Thank you guys for choosing myself and Xavier. We got that brand new Xavier X Factor emoji. Guys, put it in the chat. I just want to see his beautiful face in the chat on that custom Talkin VAWLS emoji. But thank you guys for hanging out with us. Do hit that thumbs up. Just a reminder with Xavier's audio, and I'm not trying to make Xavier feel bad. I just want the new people that come in to understand we are trying to get his internet connection dialed in. Got to pick up an adapter so he can hardwire the computer he's on now. I don't know. I'm thinking, Xavier, your phone is usually pretty clean. Maybe we go back and just try your phone moving forward. But we'll see. We'll get it dialed in. Xavier's a guy that came on the fan call-in show. You guys loved him, and I want him to be a part of this show. So he's in the rotation. If he can help me on these morning streams, it's great. We're going to be live later tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Fan call-in show. Eric Kane from VolQuest.com will be here to kick off the show. And then tomorrow, Wednesday night, the regular Wednesday show, it's going to be myself, Dauber, and JP confirmed that he'll be a part of the show. Not sure about the postgame yet. Waiting to see what that's going to look like. But Xavier's going to be out of town. It could be me, Dauber, Snake. JP may be involved as well. But if you're not subscribed, get subscribed. If you're new, you're wondering what this is, who these people are. Do they think they're experts? No, we're not experts. We're fans. This channel is where the heartbeat of Vol Nation comes to reside. Why is this channel? Why does this channel, with these guys that have clicky audio, with a guy that stumbles over his words and acts like an idiot sometimes, why do these guys have the biggest subscriber base for Tennessee football on YouTube? Why is that? It's because we're real and we're authentic and we give you guys a voice. This is truly for the fans, by the fans, and this is where the heartbeat of Vol Nation is at. Everybody's going nuts wanting that Buck Fama shirt. We'll talk about it. Let's hear a little bit more from Josh Heupel.
Back here, Coach. What aspects of Hendon's game remind you of yourself from your playing days, if any?
He's a lot more athletic than I was back in the day. I think how he's grown in his preparation, what he does off the field, and his ability to reset when he's on the field. One play does not affect the next. I think those are a couple things that I would hope remind me of myself.
Did you hear? I think it was the Pitt game, maybe. It was the Bussin' with the Boys interview that Heupel did, and they asked, if the game's on the line, late in the game, what quarterback do you want leading your team, Hendon Hooker or Josh Heupel? And he said Hendon Hooker, and they asked him why, and without skipping a beat, he said he's got better coaching. What a boss answer from Josh Heupel to drop that out there. That was a great response. Let's see. Let's hear a little bit more.
Once you had a chance to go look at the tape, just how did you assess Juwan's performance?
Yeah, I thought he played really well. In his opportunities, he was dialed in. No really mental lapses during the course of it. Communicated extremely well.
Josh, 2 questions. One, do you have an injury update on those guys?
You can talk to Wes. Today's Monday. We don't do much on the field, and so we'll see as we get out on the grass here in the next couple of days.
Yeah. Second question, rivalry game day in town. Do you have a sense for how this group handles or responds to pressure situations?
Yeah, I do. I think that's part of, you're going to hear the outside noise and the energy and excitement. Our kids should be excited about what the environment's going to be on Saturday. Your preparation leads yourself to being ready to play. Competitive composure will be big in this one, and at times we've done a really good job of that. Obviously, there's some things the other night that I did not like. It's going to be important for us all, the 11 guys on the field and everybody on the sidelines too, to be able to compete and have the right frame of mind for 60 minutes.
Josh, Jalen didn't fumble on Saturday, first time this season. Just how have
Say
you?
that one more time.
Jalen Wright did not fumble on Saturday after fumbling in the first 2 games. Just how have you seen him develop through each game this season after being limited throughout fall camp?
Yeah, I thought he had his most action, most carries, from the course of the season. Thought he handled himself well. Vision, taking care of the football. A lot of positives, protection too.
Josh, you talked about Anthony Richardson from Florida on offense, but what do you see from the Gators defense you'll be going up against?
Yeah, highly skilled. That's their front four, being able to apply pressure and disrupt your run game. Secondary is long and athletic, like you would anticipate them to be in, and so there's schematic battles that will be fought on Saturday afternoon. But then there's one-on-one battles that are going to have to be won by our players out on the field too.
Last 2 games, you've had almost, 180 yards in penalties, almost 200 yards in penalties. When you look at that, what do you got to do to clean it up? What are you seeing, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, with some of the self-inflicted penalties that you've had?
Yeah, self-inflicted in all 3 phases of the game the last couple of weeks. We got to play cleaner in this one. The hidden yardage will matter. It changes the way 3rd and 4th downs are played. Pre-snap penalties, you can't have them. We can't have a penalty on special teams when the ball's exchanging sides, and as much as anything, we got to play smart and be composed, like I was talking about earlier.
Coach, I love those comments. Wear your Talkin VAWLS shirts to game day, make signs too. Yeah, I would love to see a Talkin VAWLS sign on game day. That's my goal for Saturday. Somebody get out there with a huge Talkin VAWLS sign and get it out there. I would love to see it. Dave says, how many Talkin VAWLS Network T-shirts will we see? Yeah, 100% would love to see it. I had a comment I was going to make, but then I read those comments from the chat and completely forgot. Oh, he was talking about penalties. That's something we talked about the other day. And is Josh Heupel coach football teams? Are they just going to have more penalties because they run more plays? And because they run more plays, that means Florida's going to run more plays. Maybe almost like, and I get it. He's going to say it every single week. We got to clean it up, got to clean it up, got to clean it up. But at this point, Xavier, should we just expect numbers-wise they're going to have more penalties?
Yeah, most definitely. I know, with our fast-paced offense, I figured there's going to be a lot of, false starts. I mean, that's going to be a given with the fast-paced offense. But as far as other penalties and stuff like that, no, like I said, I think against that Akron game, they played pretty cleanly. I mean, yeah, there were a few penalties and stuff to clean up, but yeah, I think they'll try to go out there and try to play at least some clean football. And honestly, with Florida, yeah, it's probably a good idea to try to play clean football because, like what I said earlier, you don't want to give Florida just that little inch to try to come back and beat us like late quarter in the game.
Yeah, just don't shoot yourself in the foot. It's like I said earlier with special teams. If Florida's punting, you can't fumble the punt and turn it over. You can't allow a punt to be blocked. It's that the false starts, the pass interference stuff on Brew McCoy was a joke. Maybe the second one I could see, but it felt like the corner came up to engage him. What's he supposed to do? If the ball goes to the other side of the field, there's no way they're calling that. But because he caught it for a touchdown, they throw the flag. I thought it was ticky-tack. I thought one of the roughing the passer calls was ticky-tack. But you just gotta clean up the big mistakes, and even still, the false starts and stuff. Don't get behind the chains, and that happened. That happened a couple of times. The offense stalled against Pitt. You just end up in 1st and 15, 1st and 20. You're behind the chains, and then you're struggling to get back. And, that puts you in a bad situation. And Hendon Hooker protects the football, but you put him in a bad situation where he makes a mistake. You end up with a turnover. But that's what I like about Hendon Hooker. And, we've talked about it, the numbers compared to the eye test and his accuracy being a little bit off. The big key is he does not turn the football over. He has a track record of that. he's got a pretty good streak that I'm not going to speak into existence because I don't want to see it end on Saturday, but I'm going to trust him to continue to protect the football.
Some other receivers kind of step up and make some plays. Ramel, I think, Squirrel had a catch early in the game. Walker again. What's your confidence level in some of the rest of that group beyond the three starters?
Yeah, we feel really good about all of those guys. You know, Squirrel goes out there and makes a huge play down the sideline. Early in the football game, Ramel's made plays every time he's had an opportunity this year and last year. And, you know, Walker continues to grow and has competed in a really good way. So we feel really good about all those guys.
Josh over here. With Gerald Mincey, just what have you seen from him the first 3 games, and then with him going against his former team this week, do you say anything to him about that, or how do you think he'll handle that situation?
I joked with him a little bit today. You know, he gets a chance to go compete against a few guys that he's got a pretty good understanding of who they are and what they're about. Give a little scouting report this evening on the front. He's played really well. I think he's continuing to get better and more comfortable in what we're doing. He's executed really well in the pass game. Pass protection continues to get better in the run game too, and I expect him to have a big ball game on Saturday. Guys, have
Somebody in the chat asking about Jimmy Callaway. He didn't say anything about Callaway, but somebody says he's only suspended for the first half. And I saw people talking about that. If it's just fighting, it's for the first half. Well, because it was in the second half, he gets the first half of the next games versus just being ejected from the game. But, man, I don't know. That seemed a little something extra when you throw 5 unanswered points. But, hey, we'll see. You could tell Heupel was frustrated, and Jimmy's going to be right back in the doghouse, and he'll have to work himself out once again. But I want to talk a little bit about recruiting. Not a whole lot, but we're going to jump into it and talk about some stuff. But I want to take a second. We do have over 300 people still watching. Thank you guys for hanging out with us on this Tuesday morning. Make sure you smash the thumbs up. Go check out the official merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. We appreciate you guys picking up any and all merchandise. Again, I would love to see it on game day, or if you wear it just to any Tennessee football game, take a picture, tweet it out, put it on social media, tag us. I would love to see it, retweet that, let people see the merchandise out in the wild. But again, it's bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. The link is also in the description. I also see Dakota down there in the chat dropping that in there, so we would appreciate it. You can also support NIL. You know, look, we talk about recruiting in 2022. NIL is the way. Inspire Sports Group, a lot of people claiming they're the #1 NIL collective in the country. We are an official affiliate of Spire Sports Group. So if you're thinking about contributing to NIL and getting involved in helping Tennessee rebuild this program, we've got a link in the description below. It kicks a little bit of money our way, but, you know, I've said it a million times on here when we talk about Spire Sports Group, 90% of the money raised goes to the athletes. You can see it right there on the homepage. But it's kind of like when we sell the memberships on the channel. You don't just – it's not just a donation. You get custom Talkin VAWLS emojis. You get access to the call-in shows. I try to highlight your comments on the screen when I see them. It's the same thing with Spire Sports Group. $5 a month, you get a decal. You get access to a newsletter. If you give a little bit more, $25 a month, you get exclusive content. You get a monthly autographed item raffle. You get priority access to Tennessee student-athlete events. You get 10% off of their merchandise. They've got some cool merchandise. I'll go show that here in just a second. If you give a little bit more, $100 a month, you get a quarterly autographed item guaranteed. And a lot of you guys that have joined Spire Sports Group through us, you've been tweeting out those pictures. Some of you got a Hendon Hooker autograph. Some of you got a Cedric Tillman autograph. So you're getting some good stuff through this. If you go a little bit more, you get a custom video message from athletes, a little bit more, 2 custom videos, Tennessee watch party with student athletes. So a lot of fun perks and benefits to being a part of this. And where you get a discount is here on the merchandise. Let me go find it. This is my favorite shirt. Look, they got some different merchandise here that I like. I don't like that. They're still in my that should be Talkin VAWLS. What are you doing? What are you doing, James? I'm going to have to give you a phone call. This is a shirt I love, the GOAT shirt, the 16 GOAT shirt. I love this shirt. Looks so good. The GOAT head, number 16. Awesome. Yeah, that's cool stuff. That's cool stuff. But again, the link to support Spire Sports Group through our affiliate link is in the description below. But we appreciate any and all support. Trevor Dixon becomes a member of the channel. Appreciate that, Trevor. Guys, you know what to do. Show him what he's won. Put those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis in the chat. A lot of new members coming in today, guys. We appreciate it. And I know I keep harping on it and keep saying it, but the more members we get, the more realistic it is. The more realistic it is for me to do this full time. And that's what we want to do, is continue to bring you more content. But I want to talk about a little bit about recruiting. And what I want to talk about, and this is an article from on3.com. I don't share articles that are behind a paywall because that's not my style. And Austin Price, Brent Hubbs, Eric Kane, all those guys, Rob Lewis, they do a great job covering Tennessee football. But some articles over at On3 are not behind a paywall. They are free to the public. And that's what this one is. So I'm going to go ahead and share it up. But when we talk about recruiting, and a lot of the argument is always not getting enough 5 stars, 3-star you, no talent. There's 3-star you, no talent at all. And look, Ball Guy 78. I'm a supervisor, so headphones in and chilling. Wait, do boss rules for thee, not for me, Ball Guy 78? Is that what you're saying? You got rules that you follow and rules that the employee. I got you. I see what you're doing. But we talk about recruiting. We talk about star rankings, right? And they do matter. You can't just recruit a bunch of 3 stars and go out and win. You've got to get the big-time prospects, guys like Nico. You got to get some 5 stars. But what is more important is player evaluation, and what that means is who you offer. You offer a 3-star and they commit, the world goes crazy. 3-star you, everybody's mad. But who do you think knows more about college football talent, Josh Heupel or Boogie Bentley sitting on his couch eating Cheetos watching Tennessee football? Josh Heupel. And when you look at these recruiting websites, and the guys at On3, they do a great job. They do a great job covering football. 24/7 Sports, Rivals, ESPN. Those guys, they know what they're doing, but they don't know more than college coaches. There's a reason Josh Heupel gets paid millions of dollars, and the guys at 24/7 Sports, VolQuest, all around, they don't make millions of dollars. There's a reason for that. But player evaluation, player development is what's important. This article from Austin Price, again, it's not behind a paywall. This is a free article. Ball commitments and targets on the rise in On3 rankings update. And this is something that we talked about when you talk about recruiting. Once you get into your season, once you get into that senior season, you're going to see recruiting change. You're going to see rankings change because all we have on tape is these kids, their junior season. But you can see here, you look, Caleb Herring jumped over 40 spots, committed to Tennessee, little brother of Elijah Herring, jumped 40 spots from 98 overall to 56 overall. Caleb Herring, now the 56th ranked player in the country, almost a top 50 player. Charles Power, the On3 directing of scouting, says he plays all over their defense. He can play in space, cover the slot receiver. I think he projects long-term as a Leo, pass rusher type of guy. These rankings are an NFL draft type projection. It's really a 3-4 year down the line projection. I think from watching him as a senior, it points toward a really high upside. Let's freaking go. You got Caleb Herring. You've got Shandavion Bradley committed in this class of 23. We're talking about, we've already seen James Pierce has already got home with a sack this year. There's a lot of hype behind these young guys. Joshua Josephs is a guy that's got a lot of run, a lot of play early in this year. Those are 2 really good edge rushers that are getting play as true freshmen. Now you add Caleb Herring, a guy that's almost a top 50 player to the class of 23. You add Shandavion Bradley. Now you've got 4 really good, really young edge rushers, and that's how you bring a program back, Xavier.
Yes, it is.
Thomas Hargrove in the chat, can we plan a Talkin VAWLS tailgate at the game for everyone's going to be there? You guys can do that. I made the decision once I tried to start making this a career. When I want to transition full-time, I'm Mr. No Days Off. I'm not going to skip a game and not do a post-game show. But if you guys are going, I would love to see it. That would be cool. Talkin VAWLS tailgate. You guys have the merch on. Take some pictures, send them our way. That'd be cool. What I am planning to do is a Talkin VAWLS tailgate next year for the orange and white game. That's what we're planning to try to make happen next season. So we'll let you guys know as we get closer. We wanted to do it this year, but with everything, the orange and white game getting canceled just wasn't in the cards. Another one here, one of the biggest jumps in the on 300 rankings was Nathan Laycock, who is a 3-star wide receiver. When he committed, that was what was in the commitment video. Tons of comments about 3-star U. He comes in at number 146 after previously being outside the top 300. So Nathan Laycock, a guy that fits this system, a good wide receiver, good solid wide receiver, jumps to 146. He's now inside the top 150. Here's the comment from scouting. When I saw him previously, you could see the tools and the traits. I think there was more room for improvement in terms of playmaking ability and finishing ability. I think he is getting progressively better. I think Tennessee got a steal That's what you want, Xavier. You want to go get those guys that nobody else is after, and you get a steal. You get a guy like Nathan Laycock. He went from a mid to high 3-star into the top 200, which is a big jump for a wide receiver because it's such a loaded position. Huge, absolutely huge. Again, player evaluation, player development.
And we're also trying to steal Carnell Tate, you know.
Carnell Tate's going to take notice.
Yep.
You got to go beat Florida.
Yep. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's actually at the Florida game. Actually, I would not be surprised at all.
If he shows up on campus, Tennessee's going to flip Carnell Tate. Mark my words. If he shows up for a visit. The last one on this article here, Tyree Weathersby, defensive lineman. He went from, again, outside the top 300. Now he's coming in at 157. Again, jumping into almost the top 150. The scout says here, very disruptive, making a ton of plays behind the line of scrimmage. Athleticism and ability to disrupt and make a ton of plays really jumped out to us. He had that look of someone who was ascending going into his senior year, and he has made considerable strides as a player. The big one, David Hobbs. He has jumped up to a 5-star, and he's a guy that Tennessee's in on, probably one of the most important targets as Tennessee's got to add some help on the defensive line and also offensive line. But it says here Tennessee will host North Carolina defensive lineman David Hobbs this weekend for an official visit. The once thought to be a North Carolina lean looks like he will head to the SEC. Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee appear to have the most traction. Hobbs rose up to become the final 5-star in the latest update. He says, if I told you the number of high school games I've watched this season, you probably wouldn't believe me. I think David Hobbs had a really good performance that made me go, wow. I think the progression he has made is incredible. He was around 245 coming out of high school basketball season, now up to 270 and can really run. I don't think he has ever run over a 4.8. Holy cow. He plays tight end and defensive lineman. You don't see 270 rolling downhill very often. You can see the pieces coming together. He has a defensive end athleticism in the body of what I will say will be a 300-pounder. He's getting better and better. We are excited about him. So, again, David Hobbs set to visit. What better weekend come in town, Xavier, than the Florida game, which, again, why it's so crucial. Go out, take care of business, get the dub on Saturday. Let's show out. David Hobbs is going to get a lot of love. I think he's the only official in town. There's going to be some guys visit, but I think he's the only official visitor coming in. So he's going to get a lot of love from this coaching staff. Look, we're going to wrap this show up. Been a great morning show. Man, I have fun. I enjoy these morning streams. But just a reminder, we'll be live again tonight at 9 p.m. Myself, Eric Kane, going to go live, talk a little bit about this Florida game. We'll get Eric off air and get you guys on, turn it into the fan call-in show. Going to be a great, great time tomorrow night, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Myself, Dauber, and JP going to be going live talking about this Florida game. Look, the momentum just carries over day after day after day. One day closer to Tennessee taking on Florida. I tell you what, I'm going to send you guys out of here with that Admiral Schofield video because that's what fires me up. So we're going to wrap this thing up. If you haven't done so, smash that thumbs up on the way out the door. Even if you haven't shared it yet, share it after we go off air. Seriously, strength in numbers. Power is in your hands. If you see us tweet out that we're going live, retweet it. If you're on Facebook and see a promotional post, like it, retweet it. I don't care if you like it 14 times. Every time you like it, it helps, and we appreciate it. You guys have the keys to the car. Myself, Xavier, Dauber, JP, Snake, we're all just along for the ride, and we appreciate the support that you guys show us. Thank you for all the new members. You guys are what's going to make the dream come alive. It's happening. It's right around the corner. I think we got a shot, and your support is what's going to get it done. Thank you, Xavier, for jumping on, buddy, being my wingman. As always, appreciate you. My name is Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
You know what Baker Mayfield said about Neyland Stadium? He said, it's a different type of loud. Can't even describe it. Can't describe it? It's okay. His teammates did. And I quote, I ran out of the tunnel for warm-ups, and I was greeted by thousands of screaming fans. The game wouldn't even start for over an hour, but those people seemed to think it was kickoff. Those psychotic students already giving us a preview of what to expect in the hours to come. What followed was a dissertation of an impact a crowd could have on a football game. They made it absolutely impossible to communicate. But on the first drive, we had to change our snap count because even our silent count was ineffective against the wall of noise. I came off the field after the first drive, and I reassured my coach that the fans would settle down in due time, and that noise wasn't going to be an issue going forward. Boy, was I wrong. The noise was a constant, oppressive force. I could literally feel it on my skin. Those fans weren't just loud on the first drive or even just third down, but every single play. End quote. Wow. Ball Nation, he's talking about us. Don't let up.